Hi all, welcome to today's video, and this is on one of the most common problems I get with GCSE composition. You will end up with a piece of music when a student is learning how to write that sounds like this. And you're listening to it going, it's okay, but there's something slightly wrong with it. And that thing has happened for a really simple reason. So let's have a listen. We've got a melody by itself, and I've coloured it brown because I think that's what it sounds like. C, C, D, E, G, D, E, B. Okay, really simple melody. We've got a repeated pattern, and we've got it's like an A, B, B1 phrase there. So we're trying to be balanced. Right. The student will then harmonise it, and they'll do a good job of harmonising it. They'll go in bar 1, I've got C, an E and a G. It makes sense then if they're using their key signature to use chord 1. They've got a C, an E and a G. I've coloured that green so you can see what I'm on about today. For the next bar, the melody note is a B, and the student will have listened to the lessons and gone, right, I know that I'll aim for a third in the melody and I'll put a B there. Okay, so I use chord 5 because B is the third of chord 5. Makes sense. And then they'll use chord 1 again for this section, not a problem with that. And then they'll go to a D and a B and think, right, I might as well use chord 5 again because that features in both of the chords. We're just treating this note here as a passing note. You'll end up with something which sounds pretty decent. If a bit naff. And they will go on to the next bit and they'll go, right, I'm going to add some strings. And they'll think, what am I going to get my strings to do? Well, I've got a C in the melody, so chord Fa has a C. Okay, so I'll use chord 4 and I'll ignore these, which is absolutely fine, that's not a problem. And then they'll go to a B for this one, so I'll go, well, B features in this chord here, chord 3, E minor, so I'll make it an E minor triad. And then they'll go, right, well, this is the same again, so I'll use the same chord again, not a problem. And then here they'll go, oh, remember Sutton said if you use 7th chords you might get more marks. Well, I've got an E and a B, so I'll use a 7th this time and see if I can get some more marks. Sounds like this. And it's okay, even with the 7th chord wants to resolve a little bit, but it's okay. And then I'll go, right, I need to do a bass line. That's how I make my piece sound, nice and fat. And I'll go, right, well, I got a C, so I make my bass player play a C. And I got a B, so I make my bass player make a B. And then, I've got a nice line happening here, and this has got a C, an E, and a G in it. And chord 6 has got a C, an E, and a G in it. So I'll put an A in the bass line for bar 3. And then he's going to come a nice line down, C, a B, an A, so we might as well finish on a G, and look, it fits because D and B feature here, and we're just treating that note as a passing note. And then that will sound like this. So all the individual parts that you've got going on sound alright. I know they're not that very exciting. I know there could be a lot more funky with some development going on, but I'm just trying to make it simple so that you can hear what's going on. The problem is they don't line up all together because you've got all these different chords going on here, 3 different suggestions here, 3 different suggestions here, a 7th chord in there, and these guys over here arguing over something different. That's why it sounds messy, but almost right. Okay, so repeat that for you. Okay, now this example, what I've done is lined all the chords up so that everybody, each individual instrument, is all on the same chord as each other. Okay, and this is why this is going to sound a lot better. So the melody is exactly the same. It features, as we've established, a C. This is the passing note. We're just going to run through that D, ignore it. We got an E and we got a G. I like to start on a chord which isn't chord 1 because that automatically gives you a sense of curiosity and where we're going home. So I'm going to start on chord 6. All those 3 notes feature in that chord. It will be really nice. For this chord here, for the second bar, we got a B. Now if you'll get stuck on chords and not sure where to go with chords, sometimes it's a good idea to try moving up by a perfect fifth or down by a perfect fourth. So 5 notes up from A, B, C, D, E is an E minor chord. There we go, E, G, B and D. And we're talking about bar 2, so B features in the melody. It's quite okay to use that one there. Alright, we'll do more on the cycle of fifths another time. For this bar here, I've got my C, I've got a C, an E and a G. This is being treated as a passing note, just running through it, doesn't matter. We use chord 1. And then we're going to use chord 5 for this one, which is why this is coloured pink. We've got a D in the melody, we've got a B in the melody, the E is just decoration. This sounds like this. Okay, so this is why I'm always talking about knowing what your chord change is. If you know what your chord change is, you can automatically select notes for what other instruments are going to play. You know you've got a restricted choice, yes, but it also means you're going to sound more effective more quickly. You will find out there are a million ways of breaking these rules, and you will have your own preferences and you'll develop your own language as you experiment with things and develop your own sound as you go through. My wife, for example, always writes with major sevenths in all of her songs, and she's really good at doing that. So you learn these things as you experiment with different chords and you find out ways of breaking it. You can do suspensions, you can do drone notes, all that kind of thing. That will be the subject of future videos. But please make sure you know what your chords are. And that means that all your instruments need to be lined up working on the same chord. One last little caveat: if you are using a chord change which moves in a funky place, you've got a different harmonic rhythm, so you're changing chords, say 2 beats, 4 beats, or 1.5, 2.5, 4 beats, whatever you've chosen to do, you still need to know what your chords are so that everybody can line up. Okay, so if you're getting stuck, think about doing it this colorway and keeping track of what's going on. Thank you very much. You will get your head around this in the end. Okay, thank you people. Bye bye.